Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Today we are celebrating 150 years of Maurice Ravel, who was born on March 7th, 1875. And in this video, I want to share with you three of his compositions that I really enjoy. I'm Crystal, a classical concert pianist, and on this channel I share piano performances. We talk about piano practice strategies as well as discussing classical music and music in general. So if you like that type of content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you know the next time I upload another video. Maurice Ravel was born in France, and he is a composer that is often associated with Impressionism in music. And when we think of Impressionism, we're talking about music that tries to evoke a specific mood, or it tries to create an atmosphere when you're listening to it. And when we think of Impressionism, you can associate that to Impressionism in the art movement. So for instance, you had the artists such as Claude Monet, who painted, for instance, landscapes. And instead of focusing on the concrete realism and being very specific on what he was seeing in those landscapes, he painted in a style that portrayed his perception of what he was seeing, right? It was his interpretation of the scene, and you get that feeling when you're looking at his artwork. So they did a similar thing in music, and we can see that in the first piece that I'm going to be talking about by Maurice Ravel. And that piece is Judo. Judo is a beautiful piece that was composed for solo piano in 1901, and it is a great example of Impressionism in music. The title translates to water games, playing water, or fountains. And in the piece, there are fast, sweeping notes that occur throughout the piano from the top to the bottom of the keys. And also there are very rapidly changing rhythms. And all of this is used to describe and portray the fluid and unpredictable nature of flowing water. The second piece that I want to share with you is Bolero, which was written in 1928. And you know what? It might be the first piece that actually introduced me to Ravel. I remember being a kid, and on TV there was a orchestra performing this piece, and I just thought it was so interesting. It grabbed my attention. The tuba players were sitting directly on the floor of the stage, and it was just such a different type of setup that made it such a fun piece. And it just stuck in my mind. So if you remember what symphony orchestra performed that piece and had the tuba players sitting on the floor, let me know so I could find that performance. But anyway, the key word that describes Bolero is repetition. Repetition. And, but repetition in a good way. What happens is there is a snare drum playing a 2-bar rhythm that will be played continuously for a total of 169 times. And on top of that, there are 2 melodies that's introduced in the piece that is also repeated. But what makes the piece so fun is that you'll have various instruments playing at different points, those 2 melodies. And although it starts quietly, there is a gradual build as the piece gets louder and louder with the various textures of the different instruments coming into play until you reach the very end where there's going to be a climax, but you just don't know how that's going to happen. So you have to check out the piece. It's very cool, very interesting, and you may have heard those melodies before. And finally, for the third piece, we have Ravel's Piano Concerto in G major, which was composed between the years of 1928 and 1931. And one of the reasons why I really like this piece is that it illustrates Ravel's appreciation for the music genre of American jazz. The first movement immediately grabs your attention with a crack of a whip, or really is a percussive slapstick, but nevertheless it grabs your attention and it gives you an indication of the lively and energetic feel that is going to be throughout the first movement. The second movement is absolutely gorgeous. It actually starts with a pretty lengthy piano solo, and the piano is playing this very expressive, wonderful melody before the orchestra comes in and offers more support with the harmonies and texture. And then you'll want to grab some tissue later on when the English horn actually takes that same expressive melody that was introduced at the beginning. I think you'll really like it. You should take a listen. And in the third final movement, Presto, we are brought back to that lively, energetic nature of the piece. And you'll see that it incorporates the jazz elements that we talked about earlier. And it just gives you a very great, solid culmination of the entire work. Now, to help you also join in on the festivities, there are a few orchestras throughout the country that are doing celebrations of Ravel's 150 years with different performances of his work. And just to share with you a few opportunities in case you're in the area, you do have the Chicago Symphony Orchestra that is actually performing this weekend. They did a series on March 6th through the 8th. And it actually includes a performance of Ravel's Rhapsody Espagnole and his Suite No. 2 from Daphnis and Chloe. The New York Philharmonic is also doing a performance on March 13th through the 16th. It will be conducted by Gustavo Dudamel and pianist Yuzha Wang. It'll be interesting because she's going to be performing the piano concerto for the left hand as well as the piano concerto in G major that I discussed earlier in the video. Also, what's interesting is they're going to be doing a world premiere of one of Ravel's pieces that he wrote while he was a student. So that should be a very interesting concert to attend if you can. Also, we have the Chamber Music of Detroit. Louis Lortie is going to be performing for Ravel's 150th birthday on March 22nd. And that performance is going to be great because it's going to include several examples of Ravel's major pieces for piano, including Judo that we discussed earlier in the video as well. Also, you can check out the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. They're going to be doing the concertos. That performance is going to be May 16th through the 18th, so we have a bit of time to kind of prepare for that concert. We also have the Seattle Symphony, which is going to be performing the Bolero, which we also talked about in the video, and that should be a great performance to attend. You have some time to prepare for that as well. They're performing on June 19th, the 21st, and the 22nd. Let me know in the comments section what your favorite Ravel pieces are so that I can take a listen to them, or let me know how you plan to celebrate Ravel 150 years. Thanks so much for watching the video. Again, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.